Emma Leeden has a very loving family, very different from her family with Precious. When she comes home, she is welcomed by her 5-year-old son, Kieran, and her teenage daughter, Kendall. She is also in a very happy marriage with her husband, Matthew Leeden, who happens to deal in diamonds for his business. Oh, Precious' mom is rich. It's just a regular night, and Emma plays the music loud while preparing dinner for her family. 4 people covered in black enter the house quietly, creeping in on them. Not one of them notices the intruders. Matthew is attacked from behind with an axe while Kendall is strangled in her own bed. Kieran is drowned in the tub, while Emma gets beaten to a pulp and stabbed in the kitchen. She tries to escape, but the intruder cuts off her finger and hits her head with a chair. 1 year later, Emma shares her stories with the world by releasing her book, The Invasion, detailing the tragedy that hit their family. The incident has left her with speech problems, but that doesn't stop her from speaking up. Meanwhile, Sky communicates with a client's dead mother. Johnny is pleased to hear from his mother after such a long time. Sky says his mother wants him to wire money to a certain charity. Oh, she missed Cleo now. However, while doing the reading, Sky gets caught off guard and pauses, but she composes herself and finishes her work. Later, she admits to Greg that she wants to stop what they're doing. She says that an angry spirit tried to touch her, and she's frightened that she'll get possessed if it happens again. However, when she comes home, she is reminded that she has to take care of her mother. Why this mama remind me of Precious's mom? Sky's mom tells her to focus on school and not worry about the bills. But Sky knows they'll lose their home if she stops working. When she attends their group meeting, she is surprised when Greg talks about their new mark, Emma, for their scam. Greg explains that Emma's sister-in-law, Ashley, wants Sky to do a reading for Emma to promote the release of Emma's book. Ashley promises to pay the team $20,000, then the group hopes $100,000 if they scam correctly. Sky's best friend Jesse and their cameraman Randy are both excited about that moolah. Greg tells them about the murder of Emma's entire family. Sky is disappointed that Greg chose to find another gig, despite knowing how frightened she is. But Greg insists that $20,000 is just too big of an amount to ignore. Greg ain't wrong though. Get that bag, sis. He also says it's all fake anyway, but Sky says it's all real. A few days later, Sky agrees to do the reading. Right outside the house, Jesse threatens Greg that everything better go smoothly. Why do I smell a trifling hoe and a man whore? Ashley welcomes them into Emma's home, and the group is quick to realize that a phone signal is only available at the entrance. They feel sorry watching Emma come downstairs with a cane, but they try their best to make her feel better. Ashley asks Jesse for some help in the kitchen, but Jesse gives her a stank face. Oh girl, you about to be the first one to die. Sky visits Kendall's room before she does her reading. Emma starts crying when she remembers her daughter, saying she doesn't even go to Kendall's room that much, so everything stays the same. Emma reveals she got the house secured with steel-reinforced locks and cameras all around, including bulletproof windows for safety purposes. Jesse prepares to monitor Sky's temperature while she's doing the reading. Though speaking is difficult, Emma follows Sky's requests so she can talk to her dead family. To her surprise, it doesn't take her long to hear noises coming from Matthew's room. Sky starts to talk about her favorite color, her habits, and how she loves to cook crawfish with all the seasonings. Ashley says that's every black person in America. However, Sky mentions things that only her family would know, so Emma nopes the F out of there to gather her emotions. Ashley explains to Emma that she told the group a few things to help them a bit, but she doesn't know how Sky found out about the other things she mentioned. Sky says there's something evil around here, so the group wants to pack everything up and leave. But Sky doesn't want to go yet. She feels sorry for Emma and wants to help her talk to her family. They decide to continue the reading, and Sky says she will fully connect to the other side now. She enters into a trance and her temperature spikes like never before. Her eyes remind me of me when I'm getting dicked down. Greg panics, but he doesn't know how to wake Sky up. Even Jesse tries to cool her down with a pack of ice, but it doesn't help. Popped veins appear on Sky's face, and she starts to act like Matthew did in the last few minutes he was alive. Even though it's Sky's voice, Emma is shocked that it's as if she's hearing her husband talking on the phone. Then Sky snaps into a different persona, and it's Kendall texting a friend just before she was killed. Emma is furious that Ashley has pulled a stunt like this just to promote the book, so she confronts her and tells her to make Sky stop. Ashley insists she didn't plan the reading to be that way and tries pulling Sky out of the trance. Jesse stops her and says it doesn't work that way. Then, Sky hops into a different persona. This time it's Kyron when he was playing in the tub. Sky starts to sing a familiar song, even calling Emma mommy. Then she starts to imitate Kyron when he was already drowning. Emma can't bear it anymore, so she walks away from the table. Ashley promises to pay the group the amount she promised, but asks them to stop the reading immediately. However, they don't know how to wake Sky up because she's still connected to the other side. Greg and Jesse start to argue, pointing fingers at whose fault it is that they end up in that situation. Then in the middle of their argument, Sky finally wakes up. Their focus shifts to Emma when they realize she has locked them all inside the house. The group panics, and Greg quickly apologizes for what happened. He wants to leave, so he explains that they haven't gotten any money yet and will not ask for any payment. Instead of complying, Emma shoots Greg instead. Then she walks calmly back to the table without using her cane. Oh, hell nah. Precious's mom done gone crazy. Jesse tries to reason with her, asking that she let them out so they can take Greg to a hospital. She even promises not to say anything to anyone, but Emma stays quiet and continues to stare at Sky. Then Sky finally reveals that it was Emma who killed her entire family and not intruders. The night of the murder, Emma executed her plan, killing her unsuspecting family. Then, to avoid being suspected, she hurt herself afterward and even cut off her own finger. I just knew Precious's mom was still evil from the previous movies. After admitting what she did, Emma shoots Ashley dead before turning her attention to the group. They try to find a way to leave the house, but they soon realize it's impossible unless Emma opens the locks from the inside. Greg and Sky hide in Kendall's room while Randy grabs a hammer, preparing to strike back if he finds the chance. Meanwhile, Precious's mom reloads her gun with bullets from her breasts. Unfortunately, Emma catches Randy off guard. She shoots him first, then bludgeons him as he crawls on the kitchen floor. Jessie is hiding under the stairs, and she cries quietly as Emma kills Randy in front of her. Then, to finish the rest of the group, Emma lets go of the hammer and grabs a knife. Sky worries that Jessie is dead, so Greg tries his best to calm her down. He convinces Sky that Jessie is still alive and that he'll do his best to get them all out. He admits it's all his fault. Well, duh, it is. While moving to a different room, they see Emma running upstairs carrying a knife, and they're both shocked that she's not limping, nor does she look like she had any major injuries in the past. Jessie gets out of her hiding place and grabs Randy's phone, but it's broke. Just like Jessie. Jessie remembers she needs to go to the front door for some phone service. Meanwhile, Emma sings and dances as she hunts down her victims from room to room. Miss Thang is demented AF. Greg finally comes up with an idea when he sees the mailman out on the street. He tells Sky to get the mailman's attention while he distracts Emma himself. She successfully makes it downstairs and finds out that Jessie is still alive and unharmed. Together, they try to get the mailman's attention by screaming, shouting, and pounding the windows. However, he doesn't even notice them asking for help, thanks to noise-canceling AirPods. When he finally turns to look, he thinks they are just random kids playing around, so he walks away without checking on them. Emma has heard the two screaming for help, so she dashes across the hall. Jessie and Sky run as fast as possible before Emma catches them. Emma only stops when her big back gets tired. Meanwhile, Greg is still alive and looking for a way to get out. Emma keeps telling the two that it doesn't matter if she lets them go or not, because the world will believe anything she says. She thinks she's smart enough to plan her husband's death, and she's not worried about getting in trouble for killing Sky and her friends. Sky gets separated from Jessie, and she feels like she's reached a dead end. She stops running and starts talking to Emma instead. Sky tries telling Emma that even though she was hurt, she shouldn't have killed her children. Sky shares that Kendall was confused when she realized it was her mother who was strangling her. Kieran thought he had done something wrong. Sky tries her best to appeal to Emma's emotions, but Emma a fake-ass bitch. Emma admitted she didn't want the kids in the first place. It was her husband who wanted them. She only gave in so she could have the luxurious lifestyle she always wanted to have. But her husband was having problems, and they were going broke. She wanted to stay in the neighborhood and not go back in the hood. Emma finds out someone's hiding in a room, so she points her gun in that direction and shoots multiple times. Greg falls on the floor, and Emma tries to shoot him dead. Luckily, she doesn't have any bullets left. Sky and Jessie realize it's just the two of them, and they can't go home unless they kill Emma. Jessie promises Sky that they will make it out alive together. She convinces Sky that there are two of them, and Emma's only one, so it's not impossible to overpower her. Girl, Emma big though. They go to Emma's closet and change into her clothes, convinced that they will be able to take some cuts if they wear long sleeves. Then they approach Emma, who is patiently waiting for them downstairs. Emma says, "Bitch, is that my sweater?" Sky distracts Emma first by talking to her, then Jessie shows up and hits Emma in the face. But Emma doesn't back down, and the two struggle to beat her up because she's bigger. They pull her weave. Then Emma breaks a flower vase on Sky's head, but Jessie attacks Emma to save her friend. Unfortunately, Emma manages to get hold of the knife, and the two are too tired to fight. Emma pushes the knife slowly into Jessie's chest before stabbing her to death. Sky takes that chance to escape, and she finds herself in a bedroom. However, Emma quickly finds her and beats her up. When she's about to get stabbed, Sky uses the bullet she saw earlier in the bedroom. She mocks Emma one last time, saying she's going to be alone for the rest of her life. But Emma can care less because she's satisfied with a rich and lonely life. Just when she's about to kill Sky, Sky points the gun at her and pulls the trigger. The first one fails, but the second fires and kills Emma for real. The movie just ends like that. Even the writers got tired of their own story. What did y'all think of this one? It was giving Tubi movie, giving straight to VHS vibes.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.